Crazy customers. How do you handle them? Have you come across them? G'day viewers, it's Jeff McPhee's Gardening, Melbourne, Australia. Crazy customers. Gee, I can tell you a few stories over the 4 decades, and I will shortly. When you're starting out in your lawn care business, crazy customers is another red flag that you've got to look out for. And what I mean by crazy customers, those are the unusual type of events that happen. It's not your run-of-the-mill customer that's easy going. They can really slow your day up and they can really give you grief. As I said, I've got quite a few stories to tell. I'll be brief on some. There's been the funny ones, you know, the bungling ones, and the real mean-spirited ones. And there's an array of different stories that I'm sure that everybody's got a story if they've been in the game long enough. But when you're starting out, this is something you've really got to be careful of. And we'll talk about how to handle this later on in the video. One story that comes to mind was a retirement village that I was looking after. It was a small complex with some villa units, and it was run by a management. And they asked me, could I spray the driveways because the grass was starting to come through the cracks. Now, on my weekly or normally my fortnightly visits, I normally spray them, but this particular area, the grass just kept coming back all the time. So I sprayed it all down and went back in 2 weeks' time. Lo and behold, there was no effect. The weeds were getting longer, and I thought, gee, maybe I didn't put the chemical in the spray bottle, which I'm pretty sure I did. So I thought, what I'll do is I'll change the bottle. I'll use a new bottle. So then I sprayed it all down again. I went back another 2 weeks. So this is what now 4 or 5 weeks since the management asked me to do something. Of course, the weeds were really getting long. And they called me in and they said, listen, if you can't do this, we're going to have to get somebody else. I said, no, look, give me one more go. I can't explain it, but I'm sure it'll work this time. So I sprayed it all, I mixed it up, and I double strength, and I put some wetter agent in it too. And of course, I made sure I did, covered everything. Used dye and all, just a light dye, so I knew where I was spraying. Anyway, I went to the management's office and I said, listen, it's all done. There is a bit of dye on the concrete, but it'll wash away eventually. Walking back to the ute, these old ducks, what they were doing, they were washing down the driveways. So every time I've been spraying, they've been coming out and cleaning the whole area down. Now it was all curb and channeling, which meant that it just went straight down the drain. It didn't go into the lawn area. So otherwise I probably would have twigged to what was going on. So that problem eventually was solved. Went back to the management and said, come and have a look at this, and we had a bit of a laugh about it. But yeah, that was a crazy customer experience on that one. Another one was I was called to do a new job, and it was the guy rang up. He said, we live at number 22. And when I was first starting out, I just used to go out and do the jobs and put the invoice in. I'll get paid. Pretty gullible back then, but you just did those things to put money in the bank. So I went to number 22. He said, just do it. Leave the invoice in the letterbox. Everything will be fine. And I trusted him. So anyway, number 22, get there, mow it, put the invoice in. Thought, yep, that's all good. Went home, got a call. This is number 22 here. I'm going, oh, it's John, is it? No, it's because John was the guy that rang me. It's Bert. He said, thanks for mowing our lawn, but we didn't ask for it to be done. I was going, oh. So there's no John that lives there? He goes, no. He lives at number 42. Yeah, okay. He said, but I said, look, don't just screw up the invoice. That's my fault. I rang this guy and I said, John, wrong house, mate. You said 22. Oh, that's right, it's 42. That's my old address, in another suburb. So anyway, I had to go and mow his lawn and he paid. He was really good and he became a regular customer. Lo and behold, bloody Bert sent me a check and he paid for the work I did, so that came out all right. Well, lo and behold, this John, he's done it again to me. He said, I want the mulching done. I've got a mate that lives at that runs a garden supply with mulch, and he said, I can get it cheap. I'll order it if you could spread it. Yeah, no worries, I'll do that. So I rock up, because there's no mulch at number 42. It's back at 22 at Bert's place. He's done it again. And I'll ring him up. I said, mate, you're going to have to get this organised, because I said, I'm not going to traipsed down, because they were quite big blocks. I wasn't going to rock down, 500 yards moving malt, so you had to get the yard to get a tractor to move it. So it all ended up quite well, And we've had a few nasty ones. One lady, she asked me to whip snip all the garden beds, which I did, and there was a couple of tiny little saplings, and she said, just get rid of the whole lot. Well, I've done the job. She paid. I got home, and she gave me the keys. She said, in future, gates open, all that sort of stuff, and you don't have to worry about me. I'll get back, and she sends me a message. I'm very disappointed in the job you've done because you whip snipped out my saplings. Well, I sent text back and said, well, you said you didn't care. No, very upset. My husband, he passed away a few years ago. He would be devastated. It's just so unprofessional. I said, oh, okay. Well, what do you want me to do about it? She said, well, that's your problem. So I said, all right, I'll replace them then. She said, oh, don't bother, return the key immediately, otherwise I'll call the police. I said, listen, love, I'm not going to come back now. I'll come back when I'm driving past and I'm back in that area again. And she just carried on anyway. I just left it. Well, later that night, knock on the door, constable, are you Jeffrey McPhee? And I said, yes. He said, we have a complaint about your, this particular lady. I said, then I told him the story, and he sort of laughed. He said, yeah, you're not the first one, mate. So I returned the call, I returned the key, and I put a check in the letterbox as well for 50 cents, because that's all the supplement was worth. So I thought, that'll pee her off, So you have crazy customers, and when you're starting out, these are flags that you've got to look out for. And how you handle these crazy customers, you've got to be careful, because you can walk away, you can carry on, you can get mad. It's not worth it. It's not worth jeopardising your reputation. And you'll get all variety of crazy customers. I've had the single mums that saying, after I finish the work, is there any other form of payment that we can make? And you know what that means? So no, Jeff he ran away on that one. And or you go out the backyard, and the wife will be home on her own, and not too much on in the spa, and you're sort of you're going all red in the face, and you're trying to get out of there quickly. You'll have all those sort of crazy episodes. Take it in your stride. Be professional about it. The only other customer that you've got to be careful of is the elderly, and they're not crazy. They're forgetful. The number of times you're waiting for your $50 loan will be in the letterbox, and they leave $5 because they get confused. Or if you're 5 minutes late and they say, we didn't think you were coming, we're so worried, because they'll be at the gate and they'll be looking up and down the street waiting for you to come. Because let's face it, the elderly, they don't see too many people, do they? And we're probably we're important in their lives because we look after their property, and you've just got to take that for granted, and perhaps be on time if you can, which I always try to do, or let them know if you're going to be 10 minutes late. It means a lot to them, and it's nothing for you to organise. So when you're starting your lawn care business, watch out for the flags. You're going to have crazy customers. Don't get mad. Look, it's the old story as a kid. My grandfather always said, Jeff, always walk away from the fight. It's pointless. And the same thing in business, walk away. If the customer is going to be completely an absolute a-hole, absolutely crazy, just walk away. I've always done that. It's just not worth it. And I know some people, I read on these forums, I'm going to punch their lights out, or dump grass on the driveway, or they do all these things. It's just not worth affecting your reputation. So, viewers, I'd like to hear your stories. What crazy, I'm sure there's a lot of crazy things out there. Look, I've got a whole pocket full of them, but, I don't want to go on for hours on this on the YouTube, but it's quite comical. Please subscribe if you're new to the channel, and as I said, like to hear your comments, and share, and please like, and we'll see you in the next video. Really appreciate your support. Thanks again. Bye.